Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of The Daily. I'm Simon Borg along with Nick Firchau of MLSsoccer.com. And Nick, leave it to Toronto to give us another talking point this morning. Things always interesting up in Toronto. Yesterday, Jim Brennan, their captain, retiring unexpectedly.
Yeah, this is the story so far this week. Jim Brennan retiring. He played 90 minutes a couple weeks ago against Columbus. He's only 32 years old. He goes from team captain to an assistant to the club manager. And there seems to be a disconnect from what he had told the team and what the team knew about this decision. You've got Dwayne De Rosario in the last couple of days going on record with the Toronto media saying it's a total shock, it's a total surprise, they don't know how they're going to replace him. And saying, quite honestly, that it feels like they're going to have to build a team from scratch. That is not something you want from your team leader now, Dwayne De Rosario, to say a couple weeks into the season when you've got a brand new coach and you're wondering where this team is headed.
You don't know what to think with this decision, and even the Toronto media, you read some of the papers, they're not sure what to make of it, because Brennan says this has been talked about for a while. He's been talking about making this move for a while. Then you have De Rosario telling you how it's been a total shock.
Right. It sounds a little mysterious that you have a guy like Brennan retiring 2-3 weeks into the season. Why did he come back and play one game? Why did he, who knows what the decision-making process was like. But either way, the important thing is that the players didn't know about it. If this was a Preki and Mo Johnston decision and a couple other guys up top, the players had no idea this was going to happen, and there's no transparency there between the front office and the players. That could be a potential distraction, aside from strictly the personnel move that they have to make now to fill Jim Brennan's role on the field.
Right. And look, expect to see more moves possibly in Toronto. And will a guy like De Rosario want to be there for a possible rebuilding process? Right. One move that has been rumored now for a couple weeks is that of the return of Brazilian forward Luciano Emilio. You'll remember him. He scored 20-plus goals with DC United a couple years back in 2007. His return, I mean, he's coming back from a second division team in Brazil. What do you think about it?
I think we'll have to wait and see. We've got about a week until the window closes, and then we'll see where he ends up, if he ends up anywhere. This is a guy who scored 20-plus goals in 2007. Doesn't feel like that long ago, but his numbers plummeted the next season. I mean, they were cut in half. So does this guy still have market value in the MLS? Is he going to ask $150,000, $200,000? I don't know how many teams are going to want to part with that much money for a guy whose numbers dropped in MLS. He comes from a Brazilian second division team now. Are his numbers going to be as good as they were? I don't know. And how many teams are going to want to part with that much money? And where will he fit, personnel-wise? Are there a lot of teams that need a forward like him? I don't know.
He's no guarantee, and more than his numbers dropping, his form was what was noticeably really fell in the couple years he was with DC. One person's form who everyone's looking forward to seeing get better is Clint Dempsey. But he will not be playing in today's Europa League quarterfinal return leg with Fulham.
Yeah, and in the immediate future, obviously, this is a blow for Fulham and Roy Hodgson. Hodgson was talking to the papers the other day and said that that Dempsey has a muscle injury and he's out for a period of time. We don't know how long that is. Is that 2 games? Is that a month? Is that longer? It's an immediate blow for Fulham. It's another knock on Dempsey and a bigger concern for American fans heading into the World Cup. How serious is this injury? Will he ever get back completely to form? And he needs to by June. He needs these matches against Liverpool and some of the other ones that Fulham has coming up. So it's important that he gets healthy. We don't know when that's going to be.
Fulham is shorthanded for today's game against Wolfsburg, but with all the Europa League matches today, you really don't know what to make of them. These are teams that are not necessarily at the top of the table in their leagues. Benfica aside, and they've been inconsistent for the most part.
Yeah, they're definitely tough to predict. It's not exactly follows to form the way Champions League might.
Right.
And quite honestly, are Americans going to show as much interest now that Fulham might get eliminated here if Dempsey's not there? I'm not saying Dempsey makes their team, but if Dempsey's not playing, a lot of Americans might tune out, unfortunately.
Another American in search of silverware, Jose Francisco Torres, the American midfielder for Pachuca. Pachuca advanced to the CONCACAF Champions League final. They'll be facing Cruz Azul. Yesterday they beat Toluca to get there, 1-0. Jose Francisco Torres was not in the lineup, didn't even dress for the game, but Pachuca hoping they can make another return trip to the FIFA Club World Cup. That's all we have today. Check back with us tomorrow for another edition of The Daily.